doing today, you ask? I'm glad you asked that. Today we are building the MSB1 as promised, and maybe even on schedule when I edit this. We've been wanting to do a proper job, because some people apparently watch these videos. So we did some research, and apparently what's key is preparation. Then we did a bit of a search to find out what preparation is, and apparently it's not turning up and half-assing it and just, blah. So today we've tried to prepare. We have a new board. We have things laid out. Hopefully we're just going to do interesting things today instead of, fast-forwarding through my hands opening lots of bags. So this is the first video, and the bit that we're going to do is the front suspension. Behold the preparation, first few steps laid out, and the side rails and the servo in, because let's face it, putting the side rails on, that took a bit of video time last time, and it was a bit boring, so we got rid of that, already done. Already centralised all the servo, put the servo horn on and everything, and everything's good to go. So we're going to crack on by getting this front end built up a bit. Let's have a go at it. I even built up the anti-roll bar and put the grub screws in the retainer plate already. So you'd have to see me faffing around with that. So it looks like the ball stud location is actually set with these little aluminium spacers, blocks, or whatever, rather than having a selection of holes in the plastic, as with most of them. And then you put a nut in the bottom. So let's get these in. One. Two. Mick loves doing that. Incidentally, the next build video should actually be Mick. He's got something very special coming, and hopefully soon, and hopefully everyone will enjoy it. I could steal his thunder and say what it is, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm a mate. And I think you can get different versions of these that, like give you intermediate spacings. I have to look that up. I admit I haven't done too much research on the options that are available on this one yet. One of the other options you have is whether to mount the front wing high or low. I've pre-decided we're going to go low, which means we put this wing mount on the front. I'm going to use the slightly longer screws. Anti-roll bar, if I get my fingers out of the way, moves nice and freely. We just snug up these grub screws to stop any slop. What I generally do is I lift it out to a few degrees out, tighten it up, and then there you go, lift it up, tighten it to the point that it doesn't drop, and then just back it off until it does. Now we should have a nice free moving anti-roll bar. That side's still a bit tight, to be fair. Doop. There you go. That's the first bit. Now that was a lot less painful than watching me open bags and stuff, wasn't it? Maybe there's something to this preparation thing. Apparently, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And we don't want to fail, do we? No. So, next bit is the block onto the chassis. Hold to the front, lugs in there, but That goes on first. This is a spacer that controls the height of the block from the chassis, a bit like on the Associated. This is the 2mm spacer. That's the kit option. It comes with a 1mm as well. Those drop through there. And screw. And that drops on there. And then everything should screw together, he says. Wonder if he's got the wrong screws out because didn't prepare enough. Well, it doesn't seem like an awful lot of threadbare there, does it? No, Matthew, it does not. But is that because you're not pushing that into the chassis? Yes, Matthew, it is. There we go. And then these are keyed. Wish I had a few more hands. I haven't put any thread lock on that yet, but if I just do it up a little bit, it'll hold it all together. I grab the other one, put some thread lock on it, do it up. Just make sure everything sits down fresh because we're still a bit. There we go. All nice and fresh now. Drop a thread lock on this one, and we'll take the other one back out and put some thread lock on it. Sometimes it's just easy to do things one at a time. More thread lock. Take this one back out again. Drop the thread lock on the end. Back in it goes. Check everything's seated right, which it appears to be. Job's a good one. Next, we're building the bell cranks. Put that aside, and stuff appears. I am a magician. So this is just the steering linkage. Very similar in design to Associated's, but you don't seem to have the bell crank height adjustment that you have on the Associated. I haven't actually adjusted that yet, to be fair. I've had the Associated out a couple of times now, and you know, apart from the first time, which was 12 minutes, then break the C block, done about 3 meets now, and with the flipped block idea of Paul's, I haven't broken anything, which is nice, because I was a bit worried about just replacing the block and then it breaking again. We're actually still running the broken one. The only real adjustment we've made is that we've changed the KPI from 2, which is the kit setting, to 3. And it did actually, I didn't think it would, but it did actually improve the turning. So, there we go. Going to actually do a full kind of review of the Associated. A few of the guys have been driving it, testing it out and so forth. And going to be giving their verdicts. I think Adam's coming over on Thursday to put his words on film. Is it film anymore? Digital cameras? It isn't, is it? Anyway, Adam's coming over on Thursday, hopefully. Alright, so that's the bearings in the bell cranks. Got these shank screws to go through there. There's little spacers in the middle, if you didn't notice me putting them in here because I was blathering on about the Associated. You think I'd stick to topic, wouldn't you? No sticking to topic. Don't want to over tighten. Usually if you over tighten you start getting binded, but it seems like that spacer might be doing quite a bit. That's because actually we're nowhere near yet. There we go. So that's binding a little bit now. Hopefully, just back it off a bit. There we go. I've got the movement back, and hey, that's very good for no slop actually. Quite impressed with that. Mini kits, you take them back to the, I can rotate level, and there's a bit of slop in them as well. That's quite good. So again, this side. Screw it in until it's snug. And back it off until it moves. Not sure if you can see it on that camera. 2 cameras. How about that? Probably works best on this one. Back it off until it drops. So now, both of those should move nice and free. Like I said, there's no slop in either of those. That's quite impressive. Right, bearings into the bell cranks. Yeah, until you get it slightly offline. Use brute force and ignorance. There you go. Just cockled over a little bit, just need to straighten back out. There you go, nice and free moving. And those drop down onto these here posts that we fitted earlier. You'll be pleased to know I've done the turnbuckles as well. So you don't have to watch me wind them all up together. You can just drop them on. That one needs, there we go. I try not to just push down on ball joints. You end up flexing parts a bit too much. So there we go. Not entirely happy with that angle there. Might be worth bringing that servo a bit further forward. Sort that out. Only problem is any spaces on here. Same with the Associated when I was using same model servo on the Associated, but the servo mount on this is kind of chamfered, so the wires go in without any pinching. So actually, be able to get a couple of mil spacer in there, which will straighten this link up a little bit. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. So I'll do that in a minute as well. But for now, let's press on with the next bit. So the next bit is the top bulkhead, and you got to put these 2 washers in first. They separate the bulkhead from the post, so it helps stop the air steering binding. Now, they do push, fit and stay, but there's a note in the manual that if they don't, to put a lot of dot of glue on it to stop them falling out. So I'll keep an eye on for them falling out, but hopefully it will be a read. That'll Clips together nicely, doesn't it? Sturdy. Not sure if it's as stiff as the associated was at this point, but then again, a bit of flex can help with grip. So it's all a tuning thing. That's always easy enough, and so does the steering linkage. Well, like I said, I'm going to see if I can space that servo forward a bit later. Next bit, and that's the shock tower. One shock tower. Already put the shock top mounts in. Shock top mounts, yeah. Sounds about right to me. And that just screws onto there. We have one shock tower. Onwards to the arms. Already put the drop links on them. I'm loving this preparation because there's two little screws in here that grab onto the recesses in these pins to hold everything in place, and I've already put them in. But I drop the thread lock on them as well because it's melt into metal and I don't want my arms to fall off. I'm guessing that the front bumper might cover at the end of these as well, but we'll find out in a sec. So that one's in. If we just snug up that grub screw. Lovely free moving. Didn't even have to put the arm reamer on it. Same again this side. There we go. Let's get the anti-roll bar connected. Anti-roll bar doing anti-roll bar things. And then the front bumper. Check everything still moves fine, and yes it does. Right, next bit I believe is the knuckles. Here we go then. Two to do. If you only see me do one of them, then you know I messed the other one up. Alright, let's get going. It's got an adjustment that none of my other buggies have got, which is the trail on the front axle, which is controlled by these spacers. There's only one set of spacers in the kit, but you can get others to either reduce or increase the trail of the front axle, which is if you think the pivot point goes through the block there, it's how far behind or in line with the pivot the axle's placed. Just a slight trail on these, I believe. You can get them to go 1mm less trail, and I think 2mm the other way. No, it must only be 1mm because it's one set of spacers and it's elliptical, if you get what I mean. So you get 3mm worth of adjustment, really. So that's the bearings in. Then you put the axle in. No, you don't. You put a washer on the axle. Then you put the axle in. Washer on axle. Axle through hub. Push bearing out the other side, because idiot. There we go. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to put some thread lock on this. Because no one likes their wheel falling off in the middle of the race. Not that that's ever happened to me, you know, I'm a professional. Never had a wheel come off, or axles fall out, or diffs empty themselves, or anything like this. I'm a professional. Snug that up. Still nice and free turning. Brilliant. These little Ackerman arms or steering arms are very nice and chunky. Seems to be a common thing in this kit. There's an amount of chunk to the parts. When I was looking through, I was quite impressed by that, because hopefully that means they're a bit more resilient, and that hopefully that means I'm not going to break as many parts, because let's face it, I do. That just screws on there. As you might have noticed on the inner steering arm, there's not inner steering linkage, more like there's not much adjustment options there. Of course, you could slide some spacers on to change the Ackerman slightly, but mostly it seems like the Ackerman is taken care of by these little spacers and adjusting the ball joint on there. The kit location is to the rear. And again, you can get different ones of these that give you different amounts of Ackerman. I'm definitely putting a thread lock in this, because if this came undone and I lost that little spacer, then that wouldn't be good, would it? So set into the rear and do it up. Go, one hub, and I didn't even mess it up, so this one will go. There were two. What we got next? We've got the uprights to do. I assume it's that way around. Of course it is. So now the uprights. Not a huge amount of adjustment in them. You get to adjust the axle height by placing the spacer above or below the block. The carpet setup is to go above, so thread that into there, and that through. See if we can tuck the spacer in here. Of course, in the name of preparation, I already put the ball joints on. Nah, you're a good boy. But they're just in the recommended kit position of the inside hull. Then that goes on top. It's a locking nut, so it shouldn't need to be torqued down. Well, if you torque it down, then everything will bind, so just make sure it's free moving and no slop. There we go. And we do the same with the other one. So there we go. Now we just got to put them on there. One setting it doesn't seem to have is any front to rear adjustment, which is something I've used quite a few times on the PR racing. Not tried it on the Associated yet. And this goes rear to front. Now the last thing we need to do is put the turnbuckles on, and the front end is done. And you know what that means? That means I'm having a coffee. Find my bigger ones. I'm not going to stretch on that one now. And there we go. One front end. All nice and free moving. No problems at all. And very little slop. The B7's got a bit more slop than that. Obviously it's had a few days racing, but we'll compare them both after this has had a few laps as well. But so far that feels nice and strong and well built, and with the exception of reaming one arm, everything's gone together really, really well. So, call it quits to that. I'm going to have a coffee and we'll be back with the gearbox next, I believe. So, hope you've enjoyed it. Catch you soon. Bye. Love you. Bye. Oh, I'm a silly Billy. They don't mount there. They mount into the other one. Now the camber looks a lot better, doesn't it?